Welcome back to Dumb Down Tech, and today we are reviewing the Lian Li Hydroshift LCD 360S. Actually, my 360S. I bought this about 6 months ago for £150, and there's some good bits about it, some not so good bits about it, and one terrible absolute catastrophe about it, which we'll get into in a bit. So let's start with kind of the spec of this. It is a 360mm AIO. It just hasn't got its fans on at the moment, as I was running my own fans. It came with three 120mm black daisy chained already cable, because when it arrives it's all put together, and those fans can run at up to 2500 RPM with an airflow of 73.14 CFM, which, yeah, is pretty good. The pump itself can run at 3800 RPM, and you'll see it's unlike a lot of other AIOs where we have the shroud. You can run the shroud either way, you can run it multiple ways. There's also brackets to extend the pipe. As the whole idea of this is so that you can manage your pipe work rather than have it hanging or in the way. And that leads to one of the other little issues. I have a 011D Razor Edition Lian Li case. With my previous cooler, the NZXT Z73 Kraken, which hopefully I've just fixed, link in the description below for a video of me taking that apart. That used to be in the upright position at the side, so that would be bringing cold air through the side panel. But you can't do that with this. This wouldn't fit because of the way the tubes are, because most AIOs tubes just come straight out and you can kind of, but with all of this it would not fit, so I had to top mount this. Now I know that's really the way you should be doing it, but I'm just not in love with that, because you know, you're getting all the heat and everything from the graphics card, because I'm exhausting through it. It didn't do too bad. I mean, performance wise, the Z73 on side with an hour or so run of Premiere Pro rendering, that would run at 80 to 81 degrees and around 70 degrees while gaming. This was a lot better. You're talking 77 to 78 degrees while doing rendering, so 3 or 4 degrees better. And while gaming, this would be in the mid-60s, so very, very good. Part of that is, I would say, is the cold plate. It's big. It is big and it's quite thick. So, well done, Lian Li, on that, because the NZXT one is quite small. It just fits the AM4. So this fits AM4, AM5, LGA 1700, and I believe the latest Core Ultra chips. The screen itself is 2.88 inches, come back here, and at 480 by 480 resolution, it's not too bad, and a brightness up to 500 nits, which is good. And you see it displays very nicely, and you can have a lot of information on it, and it's very legible. We'll run through the L-Connect 3 software and what you can do with this in a moment. Other few notable bit about this is it does come with a panel you can put on the side. It's like a brushed stainless steel with Lian Li. Most of my rig is black, so yeah. So I was running this on a 5800X Ryzen with absolutely no problem. So I think you could get away with running this on any high-end CPU, to be honest, without any problems. There are different models. You can get them with RGB fans, you can get them with the uni fans if you want to pay the money. I didn't want to pay money, I had enough fans, so I just got the cheap black one. To be honest, I don't think there's much more to talk about. I mean, it says it comes with a 6-year warranty. That does break down in costs over the years, so you know, after like year 5, if there's a problem, you won't get all your money back, but that's becoming quite standard now. So really, there's not much more to talk about with, well, apart from it's an AIO. Actually, one downside, it's not refillable. It's quite a lot of money and it's not refillable. A lot of the new ones coming out are refillable, which I really, really like. So I will say that's a bad point there. So let's have a look at the software. And after that, we'll come back and we can talk about basically the shitstorm I ended up in. So back in a bit. So with the L-Connect 3 software, it's pretty straightforward. It's nice and simple. So you have your system info screen, you can see your CPU load, GPU load, wattage, voltage, temperatures, clock rates. It's all straightforward, nice and clear. This running on a laptop at the moment. As you see, it even picks up the 2 GPUs. So you can set up fan and pump profiles. At the minute they'll say 0 because I haven't got them connected to any fan or pump headers, but you can see you can do various bits. There's profiles already there and a number of custom ones. And then you've also got your lighting. For example, if you do have other Lian Li products, to be able to set them up, for example, your fans, your streamers, etc. Always have it, auto run on boot. You can I normally have it hide so that we can change bits, and it will do firmware updates and everything else you want. So at the moment, I've got the LCD on the pump showing 4 different things: CPU temperature, GPU temperature, CPU percentage and GPU percentage. Reason it's all a bit high at the moment, I think there's an update going on in the background, but never mind, we can see real-time updates there. You've got your brightness control, which is handy depending on if the glass in your case is smoke tinted or not. And then you have multiple features. One of the easiest ones to demonstrate, for example, if I turn the sensors off, you can just have an image. I have a little sensor screen, again, link in the description below for the one I'm using on that. So in the system, I was literally just displaying the channel's logo. But I'll go back and you can have a single slide sensor, so that will then rotate through CPU temp, GPU temp, CPU load, GPU load, and then you can see set your loop settings. You've got your layout, so you can align it however you want. And then you've got your gyro sensor, so CPU, GPU, 3 and even 4, which is a nice setup. So then you've got your themes, and some of these built-in ones are actually quite nice. For example, let's go raining. It's starting to come up, so as you see, you now have a nice rain effect on the screen. Quite simple, quite nice. The meteor shower is pretty good. Again, it can be a bit gimmicky, but you can do whatever you like. The bit I actually particularly liked was, if I go back to that with the image, instead of just uploading a straight image, when you go add, you can screen capture. So then you can, if I do that, so as you see then, you get a little box and you can reshape this and position this however you like, which is really simple. So you don't have to go into any other software to crop or resize. This is fantastic. Well done, Lian Li, for making it nice and easy. So we'll get rid of that. Exit that, go back to that. So some of these are very nice, and even in this, you've still got your basic, quick profile changes there. And compared to the NZXT software, it's pretty good. Compared to Thermalright software, much, much better. I mean, the Thermalright software I've used previously, it does a job. It really does a job. But this is so clean, and precise. I'm not going to go into much more detail with this because you just play around and you find what's good for you. So for me, it's very much a case of turn the sensors off and display an image. It will also do GIFs and you see like screen recordings. You know, you can do so much with it, but you know, just if I haven't covered anything in particular, but there's plenty of other videos for VL Connect software which go a lot more in depth. So let's wrap this video up. Let's get back to it. Right, so let's conclude this video. I like the performance. I really like the screen. Software is great. Bad point, you have to be a bit careful where you're going to mount it. You know, you're a little bit limited on that. And now the biggest problem. So, all coolers I've dealt with recently, going from budget coolers like Thermalright to my Z73 Kraken, the mounting brackets are metal. Everything's metal that you mount this in. This is not. You may have noticed that throughout why I've actually got the mounting bits on here. They won't come off. So I needed to do a repaste, and I've already done one repaste on it because I was doing a test on another cooler. So this has only been put on, taken off once, put back on, and then I could not get it back off the system. These tension screws, like spring-loaded screws, they just turn. They will not undo. And part of what I think is the problem is, so this part, that you use the, well, I'm using AM4, so I've got the AM4 backplate, and then these sit down top and you screw this into the, so you screw through them into the backplate of AM4, both sides. And then you put the whole cooler assembly down and then these screw in. Now, when I put it back on for the second time, these just kept turning. There was no resistance to say these had been done up. Temperatures weren't very good. So I was in low 80s, so it wasn't as good as when I'd taken it off. So I thought, oh, well, it must be that I haven't got these tight enough. So away I go again, carry on tightening. It's got to tighten up at some point. No. At no point on all 4 screws did I get any indication that these were done up. More thermal paste, it's my life. So, decided I'll take it off, see what's going on. And then that's when, say, my shitstorm started. Because now it won't undo. So what I think's actually happened is you must have captive nuts in this plastic. More than likely, it's gone in, you know, and it gets hot, gets cold, hot and cold. Now, you're in plastic here. And I'm presuming that those nuts or the actual captive nuts are really soft metal and they've either rounded out. In fact, I think more than likely the captive nut is just spinning inside here. Because I think if it was all rounded out, I'd at least be able to prise this off, but I couldn't. So that led me to having to actually undo it where it screws into the AM4 backplate. Now remember, these are spring loaded, so this is under tension. And as anybody running an AM4 processor will know how easy it is to rip your CPU out of its socket. And that is exactly what happened. Started to undo these because I had no other option to get this off. I was trying to prise these off and nothing was going to work. I was more worried about like slipping and damaging something else, and it was like, right, well, if I destroy my CPU, I destroy my CPU. There's not much I can do. It's got to come off at some point. So yes, it did rip my 5800X out the socket. Miraculously, no bent pins, no broken pins. So that is back in the system with the NZXT Z73 cooler, which is a full metal mounting system. That has been on and off different systems 10 times now with no problem. This went on, came off once, and it's broken. £150, so it's not a cheap cooler, and you have plastic mounting. Now, I'm sorry, that is shit. If everybody else can do metal, if Thermalright can do metal brackets on a £50 AIO, why can't Lian Li? That is cost cutting to an extreme level and sod the customer. So I'm in the process of a warranty claim with this. I will update you in the comments below what happens. So far, the first year's warranty is from where I bought it, and they've been trying to help me, and first response was try a different screwdriver. Second response was put more pressure on it. Third response was we'll get back to you. That was over a week ago, and I'm now still waiting to find out if they're going to take this back. So I will keep you guys updated. So in conclusion, good performance, good software, shit build quality. Personally, I would avoid this. Seems to be Lian Li with their AIOs don't have the best of luck. I think it was their Galahad ones had problems as well. So in future, I will be avoiding Lian Li coolers. Hopefully this helps you guys. Please sound off in the comments. Let me know if you've had any good or bad experiences with Lian Li or any other brands. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. So please like, comment and subscribe. And I'll see you soon.